Well, hi, good morning, and welcome to my shop. It's March 7th. Hey, there's nothing on my bench. My bench is empty. How come? Because the radio is still in the back of this cabinet. Why is that? My plan was to remove it from the cabinet, have it on my bench at the start of my session today. But it's still in the cabinet because of what I discovered and the implications of it. It's not a big deal here, it's just a deal. So this hole here, this great big hole, was drilled specifically so that plugs like that could be dropped through it. But for some reason, it was covered with, of all things, a piece of sandpaper. Maybe the guy thought it was a little stiff. My only guess is the last guy to work on this never peeked under the sandpaper. He's not the one who put it there, somebody else put it there, and he never looked under that. And until he never knew about the big hole. So what he did, which is very upsetting to me, is he drilled a tiny little hole way in the back here, barely big enough for the bundle of wires that are going down through it. He must have cut the wires to do it and then reconnected them. You can see some of the reconnections are done here with automotive connectors. So what that means is, for me to get the chassis out, it looks like I have to cut all these wires again. And that's not something I want to rush at. I can remove this. This is kind of a nonsensical attempt at an antenna. This was never going to do much. Today, in our world now, there are tons and tons of noise sources in our houses, and any antenna indoors, certainly for me, just doesn't work at all. All you pick up is all the different electronic noises that are in our houses. So you really need to get the antenna outside. So having this thing in the back here, I can't imagine this really helped things out. Better than nothing, I guess, but pretty close to nothing. And this is, I think it's copper wire. I thought it might be steel wire, but I think it's copper. Maybe it's copper plated steel or something. Let's see how it bends. Yeah, this is copper. If it was steel, once you bend it a little bit, it gets weak. And then it'll bend there again and again, and it'll break. Something like this might take 5 or 6, 7 swings, and it'll break. You know that. But if it's copper, when you bend the copper, it hardens, and so it doesn't want to bend in the same place twice. And so as you bend it back and forth, the bending point starts traveling up the wire or down the wire, and it becomes very hard to bend a piece of copper and make it break. It's very difficult. So here we are. Copper, not steel. Now, how's this going to help? Well, let's see. This has got to be the speaker plug here. And we'll take it out. Oh, wow. Holy smokes, that's a tough one to get out of there. And we have the 2 power cords. Now they've been bundled up in this kind of cord bundling stuff. Done a good job of that. And they're tie wrapped here. I think I'm just going to get rid of that. Was not my plan to show this at all in the video, because this would be a nothing job, but it's turned into something. Well, why would the guy, it's on, did he drill? It looks like he drilled a hole. It looks like he found a little gap. It was a gigantic drain hole is sitting right there. Oh my gosh. So I cannot deal with these power cords. Now, why are there 2 power cords? AC phono AC radio. Why two power cords? Now we know this thing's heavily altered. It has a whole different record player in it, which had no relationship to this. Why would he bring the power up here? The amplifier and whatnot for the record player is down under here. It has its own power cord. It's completely separate. As far as I know, it's completely separate. Doesn't look like it now. AC phono. No, this would have been the old power for the old record player, which would have been controlled completely by from up here, from the switches at the front. You bring in the new record player, it has its own power plug. And there's two power cords going from here. Oh, it's got these splices on it. Oh boy, yeah. Well, I'm pretty inclined to just cut it all away and get rid of it. I want to cut this though, not this. But it's all, see, look, he must have had a heck of a time doing this because he made all the connections way back here. And this wire is stuck. It's jammed in there. So the speaker one, I would want to. What can I do with that? It's already been cut and re-spliced there. Cut it all away. It's got to be cut anyway. It's got to be cut. There is no choice. I cannot avoid it. I'm waiting for some better idea to come, or for somebody to say, "Hey, don't cut that stuff." But I don't hear the voice. I'm going to cut it beyond the splices here. Just a little bit dark. Let's brighten it up here a bit. Wait, that's not a mistake. I've left the... Oh. Well, I have to cut this anyway. That's just what I'm talking about. A little bit of confusion in the head here. You see, I haven't had any coffee yet. So let's just cut these out here somewhere, all four of them. So the owner of this did not want to plug it in. Hats off for that. So what is this thing? This must be an antenna connection. Yeah, looks like it's hooked up in here. Okay, that's undone. And what is holding this in? It's probably bolts down underneath. How do you get up at them? There's a record player on the way there. Or maybe you come through the front and come up. Yep. Done through the front here. Okay, so from here I'm going to get that radio onto my bench. I have to get the speaker out, I have to connect it up and get it all ready to go. So that's what I'm going to work on, and we'll have it out in a minute. There we go. So there's two wires coming out of here. You can guess one is the antenna and the other is the ground. What's going on here? Okay, two quite separate. So we can guess this is the antenna because it's the one that has the clip on it. Not necessarily though. Pretty dusty stuff. And the other one is just a bared off wire, but a lot of bare wire there. Okay, let's take a look at the top. Pretty basic looking radio, really. We do have this one inside of a metal cover. The other tubes are not. A dusty fellow for sure. This will be the antenna. Well, not necessarily, but probably this is the antenna coil, antenna transformer. It's got two adjustments on it here. You see the tuning transformer, tuning capacitor. No adjustments on the top. And you see that these are the same size. The oscillator part and the RF part. Awful lot of rust on here. That's built up rust there. So something dripped in here? I don't know how that could be. Not too much else to see up here. There's the string. I haven't tuned this radio, so let's tune it. Well, it feels very nice. A little sticky. It's a little bit sticky. Goes all the way. Very sticky at the end here. So what exactly? It could be sticky right in here. Or it could be sticky in the bearings on the capacitor. Wait a minute, there's something funny going on here. So if you look at the hole, the string is dropping through. It's dropping through to get to the knob here. It's dropping straight through right now. It's coming from this hole here. Yet the capacitor is not finished. The capacitor still has more to go. Now if I try to make it go further, this string part here, I don't know if you can see it, is gonna go past the hole. Like it's not really working right. You can't pull on this string and pull the wheel further. This is just about the limit. And where's the other side? Is there another hole over here? Where's the other string? Well, I don't. So the string has two ends. One end's going down the hole. Where's the other end going? Just going around. So if I look way up under here, get down and look up under here, there's another hole and the string is dropping down through another hole that's underneath this, so you can't see it. So that looks like that might be a mouse turd there. And I see, probably not a mouse turd, probably a dried up bug. It's a caper. Caper! Anybody recognize that? Bet you don't. So there's a capacitive adjustment here. It's driven right down as far as it can go. It's a little odd. Usually these things are up a bit. Oh, it's all rusted off. Maybe I'm wrong about what that is. Oh, you know what? It's a rotating type. I was wrong. Pretty rusty though. Okay, let's take a look underneath. I'm going to tip this up and put the transformer at the low end because that will make it more stable. Alright, drum roll. There it is. That's a lot of weird things already. So this is the ground. This wire comes in here and it's just soldered to the chassis right here. So this is a chassis ground wire. This must be the antenna. The antenna is coming in. The first thing it's doing is it's going to the switch here. This must be the band switch, switching between the two bands. It's also switching the antenna. So it's switching the radio from using this wire antenna and whatever's attached to it to using the... Oh, I was going to say using the loop. There is no loop. There's no loop here. Okay, so there's a possibility here that there's a missing antenna. But there's also the possibility there's nothing missing and this is the antenna all the time. could it be you're switching this to a phono setting, and at that point the antenna connection is separated? Why are they running the antenna through this switch? So I'm just raising a few questions here, making a few observations while I think about what's going to be involved in working on this. So I am not the first person to fool around in the back here. Not that I fooled around yet, but this is a replacement. This is a replacement. This is probably a replacement here. So it looks like what's been done is the filter capacitor has been supplemented with these additional capacitors or replaced. Now, let's take a look at the power supply capacitor. Usually is a thing up on top here. I don't see one. I don't see a power supply capacitor. Last radio I did, the original capacitor had been removed and a transformer had been bolted over the hole. I don't see any evidence of a past capacitor. It would have been mounted down in this area, and you don't see anything. See this terminal strip here? This terminal strip is not connected to the chassis. It looks like it might be. It's not. So this is just a floating terminal spot. Looks like a good place to put your power cords. Now looking at these power cords, these look like they were done in the factory. They just have a look like somebody's done 50 of these, and this is number 51. See, it's knotted on both sides. Each cord done exactly the same. This wrapping material here, this is a little odd. I don't think this is something that would come on an old radio. This I've never seen this. Well, I've seen this in my car and stuff like that, but this is a modern thing. So somebody took a modern thing and wrapped it around the cords. Did they replace the cords? This is badly damaged right here. It's actually very, very flexible. Actually in very good shape. But the wire hanging out of the back of that set is a different kind of wire. This thing here. Still don't know how this is connecting to what's up here. Now, why do they have the record player power coming up here? You see that both these cords are dealt with exactly the same. So I believe what's going on here after looking at it. So let's say this is the incoming power cord. So at the end of this is the plug that goes in the wall. Now you've plugged it in the wall. Power's coming along here, coming along here, coming along to this point. And you have the switch. So when you switch it on, power can get from here to here. And then it can go back out. You go back out down to the record player and into the radio on this black wire here. Something of that sort's going on. So in other words, you had to have this switch on to make the record player play. I guess that makes some sense, doesn't it? You need an on-off switch somewhere for the record player. So that's what that is. So one of these is of absolutely no use unless the new record player has been wired to it, and there's a good chance that the person did that because I only found one plug for the wall. That's really maybe not the best idea. Okay, some other things I'm noticing here. Here's a gimmick right here. So it looks like nothing more than a piece of wire coming across here, and then it appears to be held in place by this wrap here. But in fact, this is some kind of a capacitor. Exactly what they're doing here, I don't know. I haven't seen one that looked quite like this, but I would not undo this or touch it in any way. This is a component, I believe. maybe in the end we'll find out it's not. But so this is on the order of 2 or 3 picofarad. It's a very, very small capacitance here. Oh, I just realized something. Had some overhead lights on in here that make a buzz, and I don't like it. So I got rid of them. And my computer says, "Hey, you're running low on you're running low on storage space." Uh-oh, it's from shooting this video right here. Let me wrap this up pretty quick now. Other observations: large wattage resistor here looks to be okay. Quite a number of wax capacitors. See the red wire here? Can you see that? It's actually cracked. There's a crack right where my finger is. So there is some insulation cracking in here, but it doesn't look extensive. Most of these wires are cloth covered, which is what you want in an old radio like this, oddly enough. See, there's a red wire. It's the same wire. It's all cracked where it's going through here. So I got to keep my eye on that. If and all these red wires here, probably if you bend, there's a crack. There's a split here, right along here. All these red wires are tending to crack. That's what I'm seeing, all of them. And there's a lot of red wire. They only used a red wire in here. They didn't use the multiple colors. Yep, there's signs of cracking and shrinking in the insulation everywhere. So that means, Jim, don't touch the wires. There's another high wattage resistor here, and it looks like it's been hot. Another high wattage resistor up in here too, but it looks okay. These capacitors are, and I'm hoping I still got some memory left. 10. That's a 10. This is a 20. This is a 2150. Ooh. Well, hopefully this is just the bypass capacitor for the cathode resistor on the output tube, if there is such a thing, because that's a low rating for a radio like this. Well, what's this one rated at? 500. This is a 500 volt capacitor, and this one down here, made in Canada, 450 volts. So these are probably the high voltage filter capacitors. This is probably the bypass capacitor. Hopefully it is, because I think if you put 300 volts across this, it would probably not do well. Might hold up for a while. Okay, so having seen what I've seen, I am now going to spend my day thinking a little bit about this and how to approach it. I don't think there's anything unusual here or way out of the norm. It's all pretty much in the realm of what an old radio's like, that has been left alone and not monkeyed with too much. That's great. So I'm going to end the video here because I'm running out of memory in my computer, and I'm going to have to deal with that too. Great. Thanks a lot for watching. Tomorrow I will try to power this guy up, and we will see what happens. See ya. I still got lots of time this morning. Why don't we keep on going? Let's consider starting this guy up. So we know one pair of these wires is attached to the, let's look again, is attached to supply power, and the other one is attached to take power away. We're going to remove the one that takes power away because it's only going to be a problem. So on the far side of the switch here, and we'll take this off, and we'll take this off here. That's a little simpler. Now we got just a power cord. Oh wow, yeah. Well, those were squished together pretty tight. When I separate them, you can see the paper conductor insulator right there. So it's very, very close to shorting out. We don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do something that's not the best or safest. and my very poor cheater cord here, which I like to use. We're going to remove this wire too. We're going to make a big memory. There and there, big memory. So if I leave the room when I come back, I can remember what's going on. I'm going to cut this off too. Get it out of here. That's better. Hey, neatened it up already. Looking better. So just for the purpose of starting the radio up for experimental purposes here, I'm going to clip. Well, without me noticing, I jammed my hard drive. So that's why that last clip just suddenly stopped. So no problem though. So you can see how I'm going to feed the power in when the time comes, but I have to deal with the speaker. And that's really where my attention was turning while the computer had stopped recording. I kept going for a while there. So okay, we're looking in the back here. Let me get a little bit more light on it. So the situation back here is more complicated or more simple, depending upon how you look at it, than I had expected. Let me get another light. Go on here. Let's try this. There we go. Okay, three speakers. Wow. So these two are add-ins. Probably came from the record player that the person transferred into here. And this is the original speaker, obviously. And so I went to kind of remove this speaker. I need this to operate the radio. When I noticed there's a wire here coming up to here onto this bundle, I think this wire is this wire right here. And what I think this is, if you follow it back, all this, it comes into here. What is going on in this connection? Everything under the sun seems to be stuck in it. So there's a wire coming down from the small transistor amplifier here into this bundle. So I'm not exactly sure what's happened here, but I think perhaps the person who put the record player in here was abandoning the radio at the same time. And then he got this clever idea, well, I'll put the two record player speakers in here, and then I'll go ahead and hook up the third one too. Maybe not realizing that this is not a permanent magnet type of speaker. If you look at it, let's see if I can get it on camera here. It might be a little difficult. Yeah, a little hard to see, but there's actually a coil in here. This is a big coil right up in here. And it's powered by the radio. It runs direct current through it and turns this into a strong electromagnet. These guys have permanent magnets here. Let me prove this. Okay, this is usually where the embarrassment starts. Magnetic, magnetic, and magnetic here too. It is a little bit magnetic. But probably that's residual magnetism that's been left. So if there was no residual magnetism in the big speaker, then feeding a signal up into the voice coil here would have no effect. The speaker would be silent. When the current is flowing through the coil here and the electromagnet is strong, then the current going in the voice coil is going to move the speaker. It needs that magnetic field to work against. It has to push on something. So, could be the case though, there's enough magnetism left here that in fact the voice coil could move against it. And in fact, the guy wired this up so all three speakers are paralleled onto the output of the little amp here. I think that's what he did. The real reason for even talking about this is I got to decide what I am going to do. So this is an output transformer, and believe it or not, the plate current for the output tube is fed through this. The output tube's a vacuum tube up in the radio, which is on my bench right now, and its output, its plate voltage runs through this. So there's a wire, two wires that run all the way up to the radio to do that. It has nothing directly, I won't say, sometimes you can't make a simple explanation of something. So if you do, then it's kind of false. I'm kind of in that boat now, but never mind what I was thinking about. Now, all this stuff here is all about the record player motor, so we don't have to pay attention to that. Here we have 4 wires. So this would be the feed to the electromagnet and the feed to the voice coil, or actually to the output transformer. This has got lamp cord. He's used lamp cord here. Sure feels like it. Definitely a lamp cord. Okay, I can see there's a tie wrap here. I'm going to cut the tie wrap. I see sometimes people do things to these radios to compensate for problems in them. And so you might be looking at what somebody did to compensate for something, but you may not realize what it was they were compensating for. Like, for instance, maybe this field coil is open. Maybe this speaker doesn't work. So that's why I'm looking at this very carefully. Try to spot that kind of stuff. Detach these wires here. Always. They don't want to poke a hole in the speaker either. Here we are. Wow, I really clamped this down. Oh boy, it's stuck right on the wire. Yeah, I squeezed that down so much. This is stiff here. It's cracking. It's all junk. Lamp cord. Lamp cord everywhere. Okay, getting focused now. What am I actually trying to do? I'm trying to get this big speaker out of here. So this wire, this is going nowhere. I'm cutting it off. I'll worry about it later. The fact is, the speaker wiring is quite simple, and it shouldn't look like this at all. And if I cut all this away and forsake it, never understand it, it won't matter, because reconnecting it is so straightforward. Now, so I think I can pull these down and go through it. Oh my gosh, they're all cracking to pieces here. How did the guy ever manage to get these wires up through here? Oh my gosh. Why didn't he use the big hole? Where is this guy? Where is he? I need to talk to him. Okay, we gotta take a look at the top here and see what's going on. Just getting a little light ready. What is going on? So you can see where I cut the wires. Again, the Venetian blind effect is from the light I'm using. Just cut all this away, because later it's coming back up through the big hole. I'm not just going to stick it back through there. Look at this. What's this piece? Like this one. Can you see the woodwork that's been done there? It's like a canoe-shaped slot here. That would be from somebody with a drill, drilling this way. Wouldn't it be? What went on here? A little bit of green paint splashed on it here too. What is that? There's a metal base plate here that probably should have gone with the radio. It's just sitting here. And all these wires. Well, why did you do this to me, buddy? Oh my gosh. Okay, getting those wired. Okay, I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to work away on my own. You got the idea of what I'm up to. I'm going to get that speaker out of there, and we're going to get it up on the bench and go from there. Uh-oh, I think I owe an apology here. Let's take a look at this again. So, yeah, I'm just cutting away these wires. looking at this hole here again, thinking, oh, why didn't he go down the hole? But you know what? This hole is on this board. There's another board back here. It's another board behind here. And it's possible there's no hole. There's no continuing hole. You know, I'm gonna have to take this backboard off here. Take a better look at things. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So it just, so you can see what I'm talking about is taking this backboard off here, so I can see what's going on between up here and down there. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I've made another observation here while I was working away. Those guys right there, and that guy there, and that guy there. Mouse turds, no question about it. Mice lived in this radio for a while. Okay. So I don't want you to miss the thrill of discovery as I remove this board. So I got one last screw to do. And inside is going to be a stack of gold bars hidden in here 35 years ago, and I'm going to get them. And if there really is gold bars in here, you'll never see this piece of video. There's another screw here. Okay, there we go. Really? Whoops. Some glue in there? So here we've got a view here. Nice green board. Green everywhere. So, okay. Now we get to look at the rear view of the record player. Get to see the whole thing now. Yeah, it was just a little bit of glue leaked over here when the fellow was gluing this cloth here down. Somebody worked hard on this. There's no question. So now we can see the wires traveling through the corner. What about the big hole? Okay, so the big hole just leads to here. My guess is what happened is this board is a replacement. That the original board was an inappropriate size, and you either cut this board and shaped it to put the record player in. He did something anyway, but one thing he didn't do is he didn't drill a great big hole in it. So how are you going to get the wires past? So he's done them, he's just jammed them down the corner here. As if he put the wires in, banged in this board. See, the board is screwed down, a screw here. One screw, you put one screw in over here. If I loosen that screw off, then I can slide the board back and free the wires up. Free the wires. Free the wires, Jim. And then I think I will probably either drill a hole or you just run the wires up the back here. I'm not quite sure what the big deal was. Screw. Okay, that's just loose enough. So I'm willing to bet some wires went in this corner originally. I'd be willing to bet that. These are all just totally pinched in here. They weren't going anywhere. I'm never going to get them out. Okay, there we are. That's a lot better now. The wire's everywhere. Oh my gosh. Can we tell better what's going on? So this big bundle here is of no use. rid of it. This is an example of somebody using the wire they had. Why they didn't cut it down shorter, I don't know. I don't know. Why would they leave all this in here? Who knows the answer to that question? Okay. What other I didn't plan to video any of this because I thought there just would be nothing of interest going on here, but it's turned out to be quite a challenge. So this is the power cord coming in. I think we're going to take it right off. Well, you know what? I can leave it there for now. I mean, this is a great long cord to plug this guy in when everything's done. So we just leave that like that, I think. Speakers. So I'm going to photograph this before I start playing around with it, or the next thing you know I won't. I can actually photograph it, and I can use my video here to do it. In fact, I have learned I want to get a shot of all those wires, how they connect to the input and output on this amplifier. It's not all the wires. It's just more or less these two here. You can see this one's pretty sure to be ground. Oh! What did I pull it off of? It's barely on there. Okay. And this one. Pull it off. Good. Okay. So that's kind of weird. Both these wires are going into the same big bundle here. So this is probably two splices and then tape them together. That's probably what this is. What's he used here? Masking tape? Whatever he used held up pretty good. We need to worry about it. The objective is to get the big speaker out of here. Is it all freed up? You know what? It is. All freed up. Okay, so I can get the big speaker out and take a look at it on the bench. Holy smokes. Nothing is simple. That's life. Okay, let's make a little bit of room here. Speaker. Okay, here it comes. With all of its wires hanging off of it. There we go. Let's look it over. Cone is in great shape. So I'm looking for cracks around the outer edge. There's no sign of cracking. Just going to move the cone gently. Can you hear that? Let's try it again here. The scratching sound? So the voice coil, there's a coil down in here, and that piece of metal you see is actually the pole of a magnet, and the other pole is around the outside of this. Around the outside of this. You can't really see it. And so the coil is pulled up and down in the magnetic field, but it's rubbing on the magnet. So whether we'll hear that or not, I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know. Now what about all these wires? And then we have the original plug, which is here. It looks like he cut it. Why the big extension? Or did he cut away a bunch of wire? Because looking at the length of this, I think he's probably cut away a bunch of wire. And this extension is necessary, but he's used really just look at this. Look at this. This is where, that's not very good shape. So I can get rid of those wires because they are doing no good to anybody at any time. Goodbye to them. Okay, that's a lot of wire I'm removing from this radio here. Now, let's take a look at this situation here. So we have the output transformer. The primary side of this is being fed with high voltage from a vacuum tube down in the radio. Then on the other side of the transformer, the output is fed to the voice coil, which is that part I was showing you down underneath. This wire, this extra wire that somebody put on, is connected directly to the... He said I got silent here. What did he do? I'm not sure what's going on. They got 3 terminals. One of them may be involved with a hum coil or something like that. We've got a pair going in here and a pair of wires coming up here. These wires, they look like they're factory connected to these 2 points. One of these 2 points is going to be on the voice coil. I can feel it. Yep, it's this one. It's the top one, the one that this red wire is connected to. So I believe what's happening here is the signal's brought up with under high pressure from the plate circuit of the vacuum tube. It's then transformed through the transformer and made suitable to drive the voice coil. But then some amount of hum is taken out of here and fed into the voice coil too. And the objective being to counter any hum that's come through from the power supply. So a little bit of anti-hum. Hum bucking coil is what they call it. Sounds like I'm trying to swear, but I can't quite do it. That's a hum bucking coil you got there. We'll take a look at this on the schematic before I do anything to it. But it looks pretty clear to me that what somebody did was they simply hooked an extra set of wires to the voice coil, and then that would go back probably to the transistor amplifier. So it was a real attempt to make the transistor amplifier drive all 3 of those speakers down there. That's what I think is going on. And my guess is the radio was abandoned. I don't know. Hey, look, here's a price tag on here. Really? Canadian? Really? There's a tag on it? It can't be a price tag. It'd just be a tag from their stores. Canadian Admiral Corporation. 85 cents. It can't be 85 cents. The speakers were expensive. There's no way this cost 85 cents. So I don't know. Put it on the list of weird things. Otherwise, this is in great shape. This material here, this brown material, which is not foam, it's cardboard, is meant to press up tight against the cabinet, so no air can leak from in front of the speaker through here. So all the air that the speaker moves goes right out the front of the radio, and out the back, by the way. Goes out the back too. I guess the conical shape maybe projects more of the sound outwards. I wouldn't even bet on that. The conical shape is to stiffen the cone. If you think about it, if the cone were perfectly flat and you push the center of a flat, it wouldn't be a cone, would it? A flat sheet, then the center is going to move back and forth and the edges aren't going to go anywhere. Even if it's stiff, you're still going to have trouble. But if you make it conical shape and stiffen up the cardboard, see these shapes in here? Almost certainly designed to stiffen up the cardboard a bit. And then make an area here that's a little weaker, so this is where the movement will occur. That's what this is, this outside part, so the cone can travel. Then you can push it from the center, and the whole cone will travel. You can imagine though, you turn on your imagination, you can picture waves traveling down this cone and other things happening. Lots of weird things could happen with these devices, but not important though, not important. Well, okay, enough of that talking. So I think the move here is separately remove all this tape here. Let's put light up here now. Remove all this tape. And this is done well. Somebody knew how to do this tape. So this electrical tape, when you put it on, you have to stretch it a bit. Sometimes quite a bit. Yeah, this would be very hard to get off here. Okay, another approach. Another approach would be, shove a knife up there, or using cutters. Just cut my way up. Don't know for sure what I'm cutting. I don't think it really matters. Just a bunch of wire. Yeah, in fact, there's nothing here. There should be no. It should just be wire. What's all this tape doing here? What did he think he was taping? I mean, this isn't a small amount of tape. And if he just wanted to hold these things together, he didn't need all this. Maybe he just liked tape. He was good at. He was good at it. Yeah, he stabbed the speaker there. And he said, here's a chance to put some tape on. Ow! That hurt. Okay, let's see if we can. I've hurt myself. There we go. Sure enough, there's nothing in there. It's just taping this on. Okay, we're going to get rid of this now. Deny this connection. So it looks like nothing was done to injure this speaker. Now, take a look at this. Is there enough wire left here to make it from the speaker up to the back of the radio? Or did he shorten these up? Am I going to have to extend these wires? I'm probably going to have to extend them because sometimes there is not much slack in this kind of stuff, and losing a couple inches here might be just enough to wreck it. Plus, it's a long trip, so I'm just comparing it over here. I'm pretending the cord. It looks like a couple inches were lost with this. So I'm going to have to extend these wires. Where are we on the clock? We're getting late in the morning. I'm going to leave this cover on. This is kind of nice. I'll leave that there. But luckily, a lot of these old wires, the wire pattern and coloring in that is gone, or it's changed, and there's no way you can match it up. I would be able to match every one of these wires. Black one there. These two, yeah, you can tell. But I do think I need to put an extension between here. Wow, this is just taking a little longer than I expected. Okay, after giving it a little bit of thought, I'm very much in favor of doing something quite temporary here for now, this morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bare the ends of the wires and then going to clip lead them one to the other. This is not a very good arrangement. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, because I really want to try running this radio this morning. I've come all this way. I don't want to stop now. Yeah. Okay, so let me get that figured out. And yeah, it's going to take some fiddling around to get all that done. Okay, I don't want any surprises, so I'm going to check my clip leads here. See the green light go. Make sure I'm using good clip leads. Oh, that's interesting. How come not here? I expect these to be good. I don't expect them to be bad. Okay, good. Now, we're going to hook this up. Let's put the speaker where it's going to be. It's going to be here. And I'm going to prop it up just a little bit like that. And I'm going to clip lead these. Let's set the radio now. The radio, I'm going to keep it up like this. There we go. I'm going to keep it up like this. Plug is on the back here, so maybe we'll spin it right around. That would put the plug here. Now the plug's got two fat pins, two thin pins, and that's to make sure you plug it in correctly. You can't do it wrong. Well, you probably can if you work at it. Got to go in all the way. There. Okay, now we start connecting these. So the obvious one is this one here. This will be nerve-wracking. Having this kind of loosey-goosey like this. There is going to be high voltage traveling up and down these wires. This is the yellow and red one. What's this one? So here on my bench in a controlled environment, I can get away with doing something like this, as long as I keep an eye on it. And what I'm really talking about is, accidentally shorting all this stuff out while the radio's operating, because I'm not paying attention to all these loose wires hanging out here. Wow. Okay, if the radio doesn't work, possibly blame it on all this. Okay, don't anybody move in there. That's to steady it a bit. Okay. No, there's no power cord on here, Jim, to even plug it in. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. I put a temporary one. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, I'm going to clear the bench. Clear the bench. Now, I'm not going to plug this right in the wall and turn it on and just, let Niagara Falls have at it. That's not what's going to happen. Actually, it would be a nuclear power plant that would be pushing the electricity into here. We have some more wires hanging out. Ground wire, antenna wire, they're fine. Now we need to practice a little bit here. So we can get away with this much motion without doing too much here. Shorted right there. Now this is crazy here, what I've done. This is coming off. Wow. I don't know if I'm going to get away with this or not. Maybe I should put the weight out this way. Okay. Oh, guess what? Time to go. Okay, that was just a person picking up their radio that I worked on, and now I got to remember where I was with this. I think I'm right on the verge of applying power. I think I was saying I'm not about to just plug this in the wall and turn it on. I don't know what's going to happen. So I have a system here, and a system is a little bit of a generous term for it. You see my plug-in box. Okay, you see behind it is a white extension cord with a gray plug coming out of it. The white extension cord is powering the gray thing and powering this box. This box is one of those things that will tell you how many watts and volts and stuff. That's why I have it. It's quite handy. But this isn't plugged in the wall either. The white extension cord goes through this switch box here, which you can kind of see. And whoop, don't do that, Jim. That's kind of dumb. My gosh, it launched the missiles. Right? So you gotta watch these two lights, which you're having some trouble seeing from back there. These lights, these two up here. I'm gonna run the power through those light bulbs to the radio. What happens is that the radio is a really sick puppy. It's got a short circuit in it or something like that. It tries to suck all the power out of the nuclear reactors in Ontario. Instead, these lights will just come on bright, and they'll stay bright. And then I'll know, oh, there's a short in here. And I will have saved the nuclear power industry in Ontario. We have a lot of nuclear power here in Ontario, but I think 60% of our power comes from nuclear plants, and most of the rest of it comes from falling water, hydro plants. Okay, yeah, we have a very green electric system here. No coal anymore burned in Ontario, but gas, natural gas is burned for peaker plants and stuff like that. Okay, now we're ready to start this up. I've delayed it as long as I can. You're looking at a short circuit over here. I don't like the arrangement. Let's try that. You have to just keep an eye on this. It's the only way to do it. Don't rotate this anymore. I'll put a brake on here. Okay. Feeling lucky? So, gotta practice now. Over here, I'm practicing on-off. That's on. That's off. This is the tuning. This is the tone, probably. I'm going to turn it, I think it's down. This is probably the band switch. Yeah, and I can actually operate it. We will turn it to what I believe would be the broadcast band to start with. Okay, with the radio switched off, I'm going to apply power. Nothing should happen. What you might notice, if you're hawk-eyed, you'll see this meter here pop up like that. So here we go. So first I'm arming my system, and now I'm push this down. I select power through the lights, flip it up, power straight from the nuclear plant, straight into here, with a few wires, cables, switches, and transformers in between. So what should happen now? Nothing. See, this meter popped right up, and nothing happened. The lights didn't come on, and the total voltage supply to the radio is 116 volts. Okay, power off. So that was checking to make sure the off switch turns the set off. Now we're going to turn it on. Volume, going to turn it up about 15-20%. There's no antenna connected. There's a good chance if the radio's working, nothing will come out of it without an antenna connected. There's also a good chance a screaming hum is going to come out of this. And there's a good chance absolutely nothing is going to happen. That's another a lot of possibilities here. Now keep your eye on these lights. When I hit the switch, power normally, if the radio's operating normally, power will rush in at the very start for a fraction of a second, because all the heaters in these tubes are cold and their resistance is low, and so current rushes in, but very quickly they warm up a bit and that current goes off, goes down. So I hit the switch, hit the power, you'll see these lights come on pretty bright, and then they should go down. How far down they go depends on how many tubes are in the radio and other few things. Sometimes they go right off, you can't even see them, but usually they just go down. And then mysteriously they start coming up again. The lights get brighter again. Now they don't get anywhere near the brightness that the light would normally have if it were operating, as a light bulb. Those actions, on bright, down, and then back up, would indicate everything's pretty good with the radio. Yeah, just the brightness in those lights are going to tell us an awful lot about how well this radio is operating. Okay, so again, switches on, volume's up a little bit. I'm going to pop this down. Watching the lights. Here we go. Okay, just one light is in. So you see this light has come on. This one's come on. I see it's starting to dull down. This is tricky to see in the camera. The camera looks a lot different than what I see with my eye. But it's gone down. It should start coming up again. We can actually read the voltage that the radio's sustaining. 90 volts. That's a little low. Careful there, don't scare yourself. Every little sound scares me now. 90 volts might not be enough to make the radio operate. One thing's for sure, it takes a long time for the heaters to heat up when you reduce the supply voltage. So we're giving it lots of time. That's lots of time. I'm going to turn it up now, hear what we can hear. I would say absolutely nothing. I would say nothing is coming out of this speaker. That's nerving, making me feel nervous. No sound whatsoever. Okay. No smoke, no flames, that's good. So I'm pretty sure, well, maybe that's the tone. Sometimes they have the on-off switch on the tone control. So let me try the other tone control. Okay, it's up full. Turn them both full. Nothing whatsoever. Okay, now we're going to try touching the antenna. Let me just turn down these two. Not a sound. Not a thing. Okay, we are going to look for high voltage heading to the speaker. I'm going to do speak of the devil. Okay. What happened there? Oh, jeez. I was getting my meter out. I didn't make it. So an interesting thing happened when that pop started there. This, and I'm sorry I had the camera turned, this light went full bright at that moment. It's not really what I wanted to see happen. How could it be that that only occurred after a long period of time? Nothing funny happened here. We did learn that the speaker works. The fact that the light came on full. Yeah, I can't finish that statement. The fact is the light came on full, or very close to full. I guess it couldn't be full, but that would be a complete short and the radio would have stopped. So the radio suddenly started drawing a lot more power and made that noise. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, make myself safe here. I'm going to unplug the radio from the supply. Once it's unplugged, I'm really no chance of getting electrocuted. Okay, well, let me take this off too. Now, usually my style here is to get the radio operating to some degree, any degree. Get it so that if you touch the antenna, something happens on the speaker, and then from there I can go forward. Until then, I'm very nervous about working on a radio like this. If you can't operate the radio, you can't tell the effect of what you're doing. So as you're changing parts, you don't know, is things getting better? Are things getting worse? Or in the worst case, are you making a mistake? Making mistakes, I'm really good at it. I'm really good at it. I've had a lot of practice over my life, and I've got this mistake thing really down pat. So with the radio operating, you can make a change and then check the radio, see if it's still operating. And then you can save yourself. If you've made a mistake, you find it right away. You can solve it. That's why I'm anxious to get this going. But that's it for today. That's as far as we're going today. I need a little bit of time to think about it and figure out how to go forward here. Is that what happened? This touched here? Is that what did it? Well, we'll find out tomorrow. Thanks a lot for watching, and have a great day.